Today, my friends, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get the Evil Spirit Armor in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is also going to involve completing all 3 of the Labyrinths, which has these intricate mazes. I'm going to do my very best to walk you guys through them, but they are very confusing, and I got confused recording the gameplay, so it's, I don't want to just cut the gameplay like crazy either and confuse you guys even more. So I'm going to do my very best to show you guys the paths I took and explain it once we get there, but do bear with me. This is very difficult to kind of show you to the best of my ability. Furthermore, before we jump into this, I would highly recommend having as much stamina as you possibly can. There's going to be a lot of gliding, things like that. Maybe food that replenishes stamina. Maybe get the glide suit, which I have a guide for on my video, on my channel as well. Maybe get something like some, powerful armor that will help you defeat bosses fairly easily, because we're going to be defeating these flux kind of bosses and whatnot. So a little bit of extra power would not, hurt, obviously. Same thing with something like getting the Master Sword. If you don't know how to do that, it's on my channel. It would help you out. Different things like that. I have a guide on the best weapons and the best shield and the best bow. It's all in one video on my channel as well that might help you out. And then lastly, there's also the Zonite armor, which extends your duration of your Zonite battery when you're using Zonite devices, because we're going to also be using that to get around in the sky area as well. So that could be helpful for you. So those are some things to consider that might help you out through this and all that good stuff. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and jump into this. If you do enjoy this video and find it useful, a like would definitely be super appreciated. This video is monstrous in terms of recording, editing, and just getting out to you guys. And I really hope that it does help you out to get through these labyrinths and to get this gear for yourselves. Okay, let's jump into this. All right, so starting with the first one, I'm going to use this one as the first one. It's going to be in the Gerudo region. I think it's the easiest one. We're going to go from the Gerudo Canyon Skyview Tower, just kind of to the south-ish east of it, approximately. You can see exactly where it is on the map. Going from this ledge here, we're going to go over to the left side on top of it. We're going to make our way down to this ledge. We're going to drop down. Again, I'm going to try to do my best to also vocally walk you through this. Maybe that adds a layer of help. Maybe it's more confusing. I hope it's helpful more than confusing. So just follow the path here that I'm taking, and there's going to be this kind of ring here. We're going to activate it. There's going to be a bunch of dialogue. You can go ahead and read it if you want, but we're going to skip through that just for the sake of time. There's also going to always be a shrine right by these rings, both on the ground, in the air, all that. So activate the shrine if you want. Do the shrine if you want to. You don't have to. But once you do that, we're going to make our way back to the Gerudo Canyon Skyview Tower. And now we're going to the above one. We had to activate that ring first, but we're going to the above one. So launch out of that Skyview Tower, look towards the labyrinth, and you see that little island right there in front of me. We're going to be going right there. So I'm going to speed it up. When we drop down here, we're going to get one of these rockets and attach it to the winged device over here. Now, you have no way to control it. If you do have some of these dispensers that you found that has a control stick, then you can use that. That's what I'm going to use. The only other way is to lean. So basically, if you step on the right side of the wing, it'll tilt to the right, kind of like if you guys ever skateboarded or snowboarded or anything like that in your life, right? How you kind of lean back and forth to turn the board. It's kind of like that. You can just use that. It's a little trickier, but you can do that. Now, obviously, Zonite charges are useful to have because you can refill your battery if you need to. If you don't know about Zonite charges and Zonite and all the whole economy there, again, I have a guide on my channel for that. Maybe I'll try to link all those guides in the description below if I can remember. There's a lot of guides, but a lot of those might help you out with this. Okay, so we're going to activate the ring. I would highly recommend activating the shrine just in case you fall down, because we're going to be gliding a lot and you don't want to do that. So, for a quick way back up, you have the shrine activated. So I would highly recommend doing that. Now, this is where things get a little bit complicated, okay? With the mazes, I don't think I'm going to commentate the whole time, but I'm going to try to walk you through and help you understand what I'm doing to navigate. So if my gameplay is confusing, then at least you can try to take my tips and apply that to navigate yourself. Now, first things first, when you activate that ring, what you should do, which I'm going to do in a second here, is go into your menu and activate the side quest to track the side quest. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. So if you activate it, you can see there's 4 points we got to go in the Sky Labyrinth in order to activate. There's going to be 4 different rings that we're going to have to activate, and this is going to be the same for every single labyrinth. Okay, so what I'm doing is we're navigating it in the sense of looking at the map very frequently, right? We're looking how to get around the maze. Now, you're going to see on the map of the labyrinth, there are these like brown squares and sometimes gray squares. Those are all areas that you can actually go through. That just means that there's like something to land on, like a piece of land. I think if it's brown, there's like a piece of solid land. If it's gray, I think it's more like a grate or something like that, or maybe vice versa, actually. Yeah, it's vice versa. If it's gray, it's like a chunk of labyrinth, and if it's brown, it's like a grate. But either way, you can land on those things. Landing is going to be important because, again, your stamina is being used as you're gliding through here. So you're going to have to once in a while land on something to refill your stamina. That's why the more stamina you have, if you have more rings, the better. That's why, you know, doing a lot of the shrines to increase your stamina is good, right? You just cash the orbs in at the goddess statues. I'm sure you know all about that. Again, if you don't, I have a guide on my channel for that as well. I got it all, man. It's crazy. But again, that's how we're going to navigate. Now, this labyrinth is, in my opinion, the easiest one to navigate. Okay? Now, if you ever get stuck where you can't climb a wall, kind of like you're seeing that I'm stuck here, if you just drop down a little bit and then pull your glider out, it should shoot you up with a gust of wind. It's also worth noting that I would highly recommend having done the wind temple so you can get the gust ability, which you're seeing me use a lot throughout this video. I'm not going to spoil what, you know, how that happens, obviously, but you get an ability that is very useful and honestly really helps with the maneuverability. So that's kind of how you do that. Now, again, this is just how I'm guiding myself through, right? So I'm tracing the map. I'm opening my map. I'm looking, hey, how do I trace through here? How do I navigate this labyrinth to get from point A to point B? And of course, you can see the light brown on the map means that there's walls there. So the light brown means there's walls. The gray means that there's a stone that you can land on, meaning you can also fly over it. So if it looks like there's a gray block on the map and you think, oh, I can't go through there. No, you can. You just go there, and anything that's like a dark brown or a gray is something you can fly over or under at the very least, right? Like there's walls. There's a wall right there that I just passed that's like a grate wall. You can duck under those. If you drop yourself down and you just kind of go under it and then you pull your glider open, you can do that. And so that's very, very easy to do in that way, and that makes your navigation so much easier. So I think those are things that once you understand how the navigation works when you're looking at the map, I think that will help you greatly. Like I said, I'm gonna play the whole uncut gameplay for the most part, unless there's parts where I paused for quite some time. You know, then obviously I'll trim that out. Because sometimes I paused because I got really, really confused. Like right here, I'm just kind of tracing it. I'm trying to see, okay, how do I get from where I am right now to where I need to go? So that's what I'm looking at, right? Again, this is very hard to really edit in a way that's going to be concise and be something that's going to help you guys out without confusing you more than anything. It's very hard for me to have figured out the perfect path and then take that perfect path as soon as I hit record, for example. You know, I could have tried to do that, but I probably still would have got a little bit lost here and there. So you just got to do your best to navigate it. I think I did fairly decent in navigating at least most of the labyrinths. Like I said, the third one we're going to go into, they get a little bit harder. That's why I'm starting with this one, because I feel this is the easiest one to navigate, and this is the easiest one for you to guys to get kind of accustomed to how this kind of works, how the whole navigation sort of thing with this works. So again, I hope this helps you guys out to the best of you know, my ability. I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of this gameplay. Once we activate the last one, then I'll come back, I'll commentate some more. Also keep in mind, like for this section here, sometimes look down, because sometimes there's like a little kind of like tunnel like this. There's a tunnel that you can duck into. So look for the little things like that. So you've seen there was kind of like a gray lip on the map there. If you go back and you look at the map at the bottom right corner, there's like a gray lip. So pay attention to those things as well and whatnot. At this point, I think I'm just going to keep commentating because we're actually almost done this labyrinth here. So I might just copy paste that explanation, so you might hear the same commentary for the other mazes, just in case someone skips ahead in the video and gets confused. Then I might just, you know, re-explain that every time. Anyway, so that's going to be the fourth and final, whatever you call it, Zonai circle things activated. Now, the cool thing about this is what's going to happen. Well, first of all, if there's going to be a ring on the roof that you're going to have to get to, you might be wondering, how do I get there? that's going to be tricky, right? No, actually, there's an increased gust of wind now that'll bring you straight there. So all you got to do is jump, pull your glider out, and you fly right up. So it's easy peasy. Now, I am going to quickly show you guys that there is a chest right here. And there's going to be a couple moments where I'm going to take a longer path, and you're going to end up seeing that I'm going to run into some chests, and those are going to be useful. For example, this is a big battery which you can pull out and use on some of the Zonai devices. There's going to be one labyrinth in particular later on that you might want to use that on one of the Zonai devices to get to the Sky Labyrinth. So things like that, or different weaponry. So, you know, make sure you grab all of that. It's very useful. So basically what the dialogue just explained is that they removed the bars. There's bars basically blocking your way, and then it's gonna tell you to dive off that little ledge in front of that little ring thing that we just activated. And we can see that if we look straight down, there's a chasm at the very bottom. So we're basically diving from the Sky Labyrinth through the Ground Labyrinth into the Depths Labyrinth. So it's crazy. This is really intricate. You know, one labyrinth was crazy enough in Breath of the Wild, but now we got 3 connected on top of each other, stacked, which is insane how they're all kind of intricately woven. So we're gonna be fighting a boss, and every single time we get to the Depths Labyrinth, there's going to be a flux boss to fight. So do keep that in mind. Now, I'll be honest, this path I got a little bit lost, but it's kind of good. If you take my path, you're going to get some very useful weaponry that honestly you can't go wrong with. So again, there's some pose here, but if we actually climb up here, we're going to find a chest up here. So I guess I didn't technically get lost, you know, technically speaking. I found the goods, and now I can show you guys where the goods are, which is useful. Now, again, this video is going to be long because I'm trying to guide you through as much of this as I possibly can, so do bear with me. Now, this is a Soldier 4 Spear, which is a level 42 that has durability up plus, meaning it's going to last even longer, and it resonates with attached Zonai devices to greatly increase its attack power. So if you attach Zonai devices to it, it increases its attack power greatly. The staff itself actually isn't worth much. I think it's like a level 6, but when you attach a Zonai device, it boosts it like crazy, which is really good. So basically the fused item on here is what's boosting it to a level 42. Anyways, if we climb over here, we're going to find another chest. Again, we're just kind of making our way around. You can just kind of pop in and out of these areas or ignore them. There's another Soldier Blade. This one's 49, also with the durability up plus, which again means it's going to last longer, and it's going to be very good, especially if you don't have stuff like the Master Sword. These weapons are going to be extremely good to have on hand. So that's why I was like, you know, sure, I got quote unquote lost, but technically it just looks like I'm going to find the chests. I could have not told you I got lost. You would have never known I was lost, because it looks like I was purposely going to each treasure chest. Because it happened so flawlessly. Anyways, this is the boss, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to activate it by shooting it. Now, that didn't actually work for some really weird reason, but normally it does. See that one brick? So I'm going to explain how these boss fights work. And again, I'm going to have to probably copy paste this explanation. So the way these boss fights work is that when you go ahead and you use your Ultra Hand, you can pull blocks off of them. So you see I pulled the block off, but we're trying to grab the block that it looks different. You can kind of tell the one that looks different. You can also ZL target onto it. And when we finally get a hold of it, we're just gonna pull and pull and pull until it snaps off. And then we're going to go up to it, and we're just going to start like wailing on it. And again, this is why you want some of these weaponry, right? So in that first wave, in that first section, it always starts the same. What's going to happen is he's going to try to smash you. You can kind of go under his legs. If you ever played Ocarina of Time and, you know, the final boss, you kind of do that. When he does this wave here, you're going to use Ascend to get on top of it and then just start smacking it. Just watch it, because he's going to try to throw blocks at you. Which could be very, very difficult to avoid, and he does a lot of damage. So if he hits you, you are going to absolutely feel it. Now, I destroyed him very quickly because I'm very powerful weaponry. I mean, I'm post-game at this point. I've beaten the game. I've gotten all the goods, okay? I've gotten all the best stuff almost. So very powerful, but it might take you a little bit longer to do. So just kind of stick with it, and you'll get it. Now, when you do finally beat it, you're going to go ahead and you're going to activate this ring, and it's going to basically spawn the treasure chest. You're going to get a little bit of a dialogue that it's going to explain, and then you're going to be able to grab the treasure chest. Now, I'm going to quickly explain before we grab the treasure chest, just one more time with the construct, the Flux boss, is that you have to make sure to avoid his attacks the best you can. He's going to do different things. One wave that you didn't see in this one that I think you'll see in the future Labyrinth is sometimes he'll become like a cube, and he'll start rolling on the ground to try to smash you as a cube. If he does that, you just got to try to pull pieces out of him until you get to the piece that you need to pull to, you know, try to attack it. Again, if you just pull it with Ultra Hand, you just pull, eventually you snap off, and then you go ahead and attack it. So that would be his third move that you didn't see because I beat him so quick. Anyways, the chest is going to spawn. We're going to go ahead and grab it, and from this labyrinth we're going to be getting the evil spirit mask. So this is going to increase your stealth up. It's a level 14. Again, it's not enhanceable at the Great Fairy Fountain, so do keep that in mind. Also, the item right to the right that you've seen I didn't grab, it's kind of like the 3-cylinder spiky things on the ground. You can actually use that. That's a fusible item. You can't pick it up, but you can fuse it. So go ahead if you want, fuse it to your spear. It'll make it a little bit more powerful. I'm using basically a level 42 spear, and it's going to pop it up just a little bit higher. I'll show you really quick. See, the spear itself is level 8, but when I fuse it, it brings it up to a plus 42 with a total of 50 with this device here. So that's the first labyrinth, and we can move on to the second. All right, so for the second labyrinth, we're going to be going to the northeast location, the far northeast Akkala region. We're going past the Akkala Ancient Tech Lab, just kind of behind it to the east. If you drop down here, there's a shrine, and right to the left of the shrine, there's going to be a cave, okay? We're going to be going through this cave. Follow my path. I mean, I am speeding it up, but it's just a single path. We're going to be going to the right at our first split. We're just going to keep following this path right here. Again, this part right here is going to be a Hinox you're going to want to kill, and once you get to the very end, you're going to see that there's these like stones, and if you go ahead and ascend into them, you're going to end up popping up right here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab this treasure chest in the middle here because again, it's useful and it's very good, because I think that this one is another big battery if I recall correctly. Yeah, it is. Okay, so pick that up. It's gonna be useful, especially for this one. We're gonna go ahead, watch those hands. If they spawn for you, they are not nice. Go and ascend up this specific pillar. Okay, this specific one, you're gonna pop out right here, and we're gonna be hanging over to the left. Ignore the fact that I was using Ultra Hand. I mean, if you want to try to use the raft to get across, you can, but you don't need to. You just pop over here. Excuse me, you just run over, you go behind these logs, you hang a right here. You can see the gloom here. You're gonna hang a right where the that brick was. We're actually hanging a right here. I got lost. A left here, a left, a right, a left, up the ladder, and then just follow the path from here all the way up the stairs and all the way up all the ladders that we're going to be finding. It's a pretty linear path, and then we're going to get to the top, and there's going to be the thing to activate. Very easy to do. So we're going to activate that. Again, I'm going to cut through that. There was also a blood moon for me. There's a shrine behind you, so go ahead and activate the shrine as well, as it will be useful for fast traveling purposes, or just to, like I said, do the shrines, get the orbs and all that good stuff. Going from here, we're going to be flying over from the Ulri Mountain Skyview Tower. So we're going to launch out of there, and we're going to be heading towards, again, the labyrinths. You can see right there, kind of like below Link's waistline in the horizon, there's a little island. That's kind of where we're trying to aim for. This one is very difficult to get to. I had 2 full stamina rings, and I still had to use, and I had the glide suit too, and I still had to use a little bit of stamina replenishing food. Now, you can find different ways to get here. Build a Zonai device maybe from the ground. I don't know if that would really work, but highly recommend finding some kind of stamina replenishing foods that you can use just to make sure that you get here. If you open up this treasure chest, we don't need to do this. It's irrelevant, but if you do, it basically shows you treasure that's located in the depths. So it's a nice little touch while we're here anyways. Okay, from this part, you can go ahead and throw one of the big batteries on here. I'm going to also equip my Zonai, gear, because it's going to reduce the amount of battery I'm going to be using. So again, you can pop your big battery on here if you need to. There's a variety of different ways you can go about this, and we're going to fly towards the labyrinth. So we are going to be propelling forward and up at the same time. There are some extra batteries already attached to this thing, so it's going to use those first. If you need to increase your own battery, your energy cell, I have a guide on my channel for that as well, ironically. It's not too hard. You just trade a bunch of crystallized zonite. Activate the shrine for the fast travel point, just in case you fall off at any point. You can get back up here much easily and much more easily. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to activate this ring, and we're going to begin this labyrinth here. Again, I'm going to do my very best to show you guys the path to the best of my ability, but it can get a little bit tricky. At this point, if you didn't hear my previous explanation from the first labyrinth that we did, how these maps work, I'm going to quickly go ahead and I'm going to actually copy paste that explanation right here, just because I don't know if people are going to be skipping ahead in the video and are going to miss that explanation, because that explanation is very important. You know what? I'll just re-explain it every time just so you guys don't listen to the exact same voiceover. So let me explain it again in new words. So there's going to be these landing spots on the map. They're going to look like they're gray. The light brown areas are going to be walls that you cannot pass through. The dark brown areas are going to basically be grates, like what I'm passing over right here, which you can land on top of, and you can basically, you know, regain your stamina there. Sometimes there's a gate wall, but you typically duck or fly under the wall or over the wall if you get enough of a boost. If you need to get higher, try to find one of these grates, because if you drop on the grate and then you jump and put your excuse me, your paraglider out at the grate, then it's gonna give you a burst of wind going upwards, usually. Now, these things can be hard to kind of climb. I just jump at them at an angle and I'm able to jump over them. As you've seen, that was the first location that we did there. We're gonna head over to the second one. So again, I'm trying to help you in two ways, right? I'm trying to help you in terms of like how to navigate this. By the way, make sure again that this side quest is activated so you see the points on the map where to go. Otherwise, you're going to get quite confused. So I'm trying to help you with the gameplay, but again, with the gameplay, I got a little bit lost a couple times. Like right there, you've seen I went the wrong way. Now, do keep that in mind. You know, this is not going to be a perfect run through this maze, because again, it's a maze, and even if I would have to really memorize it like perfectly, and that's next to impossible for me to really do. So I'm doing my very best to guide you through this, but also teaching you the best ways that you can navigate through this yourself as well. So when you open the map, you look for those points, right? You trace it. I don't know if you guys ever played, or not ever played, but ever had those, like, kind of activities as a kid where there's like a maze and you got to draw with your pencil or your pen and get through the maze, and then you got to follow the path. It's kind of like that, right? So you're kind of doing that in this game, right? Essentially. Now, keep in mind, there's platforms that could be a little bit lower sometimes, and then platforms that could be a little bit higher. So, kind of, navigate with your camera, look up and look down. Is there something below me that I can land on? Like right here, we were quite high, but the ring was much lower than where we were currently. So there was that. This is a part where you see I'm trying to get a little bit higher. I actually had to jump off of the grate in order to do so because I was struggling. Again, if you drop like a little bit low, kind of like you're seeing what I'm doing right now, and then pull your glider up, it usually will give you a nice big burst to really kind of catapult you up. So again, you see that these things can get a little bit complicated. Just do your very best to navigate through the maze to the best of your ability. Again, don't go anywhere like right there. If you looked at the map where I just went and it was a dead end, you can see that there was light brown kind of lines on the map indicating that those were solid walls that I could not pass through one way or another. I couldn't go over them. I couldn't go under them. It was just a dead end. So keep that in mind. The light brown lines are dead ends. The dark brown are things that you can land on. Same thing with the kind of like grayish, or I guess it's like a mixture of like gray and brown. I don't know. There's all these different weird shades of brown, but you got to understand what the different shades of these colors mean on the map, so it can help you kind of navigate through it, right? So again, just do your very best. Again, sometimes you might see a gate wall like you just seen there. You can just actually drop yourself under it and then pull your glider out, and it'll shoot you back up, and you're pretty much good to go. So I don't know if there's much more I can really say voice-wise at this point. I try to give you some tips on how to navigate through it to the best of my ability. The best thing at this point is to use those tips that I'm giving you, coupled with the gameplay that you're seeing on screen and seeing how I'm navigating through it. Again, this is very difficult. I wasn't sure, you know, what would be the best way to help you guys, you know, editing this. I didn't want to cut too much out, because if I cut something randomly and it's abrupt, then all of a sudden you're like, where did he go? But at the same time, if I don't cut anything, then I'm hitting dead ends like you've just seen there. And if you're following me, you know, path for path, you might be like, all right, well, this guy's just going to a dead end. So a very hard balance. This is a very difficult one to kind of edit properly for you guys. So I thought, let me just try it like this, uncut, because I know if I'm watching something and there's just these abrupt cuts, I get really confused more than anything. I'd rather just see the mistakes, personally speaking, but not everybody's like me. So just bear with me with this. I'm doing the best I can to help you guys through these labyrinths. But anyways, follow my path. I'll let you see the rest of the gameplay. I'm not going to commentate the rest because there's not much more I can really add at this point. Just check out what I'm doing and take the tips that I just gave you into account. And I'll catch back up with you once we get to the end of this. All right, so at this point, just like in the first labyrinth, it's going to create a big gust of wind up that you just jump, pull your glider out, and get to the roof, so you can get to these to this other kind of Zonai activation ring over here. Again, this is after you activated all 4 of the rings that we had to go through the maze to get, and we're pretty much good to go. So once we activate the ring, it's going to be dialogue, and again, we're going to have to jump down and dive from the sky labyrinth through the ground labyrinth into the depth labyrinth, which is, again, always a lot of fun to do. Just be careful you don't splat anywhere, because that would be unfortunate. Unless you have the gliding gear and you've enhanced it to level 2, it's impact proof. You cannot take fall damage if you have all 3 pieces equipped at level 2 enhancement at the Great Fairy Fountain. So it could be a little bit dark. The first labyrinth that we did was not dark because I'd activated some light roots in the depths close by, just kind of earlier in my playthrough, which was sort of irrelevant to this. But you can throw down one of these bright bloom seeds. The giant ones add more light. The little ones add just kind of like a smaller area of light. So you can toss a bunch of those down in the battle area, especially because you're going to want to be able to see where you're fighting. So I'm going to walk you through this fight as per usual. This is again going to be a Flux Construct 3. And again, if you have the Master Sword, it's so good. You can also infuse stuff into your Master Sword, by the way, to make it even more powerful, which is crazy. But if you don't, there's a variety of different things you could use. Some of the weapons that we've been getting from treasure chests, like I showed you in the first labyrinth that we did, those are really powerful to use. Anyways, as per usual, if you didn't listen to my explanation in the first labyrinth, let me explain it again. You see this block right here? We're basically trying to use Ultra Hand to grab it from the Flux Construct. We're trying to basically select it and pull it off. Now, when he does the first wave, we're going to try to avoid all of his slams, because if he hits you, it's pretty much a one-hit. Right in this section here, we're trying to use Ascend. He's going to try to throw bricks at you. As you just seen, I got hit, and I got a lot of my hearts just annihilated from me. You take a lot of damage. Now, again, I am melting this thing because I am very overpowered. I got some really good gear that just gives me attack up. I got the Master Sword, which is fused with an item that boosts it even more. It's just crazy. You can grab all the stuff that he drops. It's some good stuff. There's some portable devices, some Zonai charges and all that. Again, those spiky round things is a fusible thing. You can't carry it with you, but you can fuse it to an item you currently have. I fused it to my Master Sword. You can fuse it to something else if you want. Go ahead and activate this Zonai ring as per usual. It's going to lift a secret compartment out of the middle of the floor. Again, if you didn't see the first labyrinth, maybe you already did it on your own or whatever. I don't know. If you did it on your own, you probably already know how this works anyways. But the treasure chest comes out of the ground. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go pick it up. It's going to be the second evil spirit armor piece, which this one is going to be the actual evil spirit armor. Again, stealth up. This one's a level 4, not infusible. Again, or enhanceable, sorry. Not enhanceable at the Great Fairy Fountain. So that's 2 out of 3. Let's go ahead and do the third and last one. All right, so for the third one, we're going to be going over to the north area from Picada Stone Grove Tower is the closest area. We're going past the Tabantha Tundra, kind of to the northeast section of the North Tabantha snowfield. We're going to be starting right here at the entrance here, so that's where we're going to be starting this clip from, and we're going to go through the labyrinth. You're going to probably want some warm clothes or eat some, cold resistant food of some sort. We're going to make our way through here. Excuse me. We're going to go to the right and then hang a left right here. We're going to go down, hang a right here, just follow through here. We're going to use Ascend right over here to get to the top. And if you just follow my path, we're going to drop down here, climb up this ladder, and we're pretty much good to go. Very easy, excuse me, for the most part. We're going to drop down. If you want to get that shrine, you can melt it with fire of some sort, either with a portable Zonai device or with fire fruit, or, however you figure it out. Little tip, if you actually drop, if you light up a fire and you light an arrow and you hold your arrow, don't shoot your arrow, and you just hold your arrow to the ice, it'll just melt the ice without wasting an arrow or anything like that. Anyways, activate the circular thing again, as per usual, the Zonai device here, and you can see we're going to be going up to the northern section. So there's a shrine there and there's a shrine here. I'm going to start from this shrine. That's where I ended up capturing my gameplay from. If you fly from Picada Stone, whatever it was called, the Picada Tower, and you kind of make your way across the map where you just seen me show you towards the northeast, you're going to land on this platform up here. Now, once you land up here, what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate this thing until it's facing this island over there. Again, you can see on the map, we're going to be facing the northern island over here. We're going to launch over to it. We're going to go into this device here, and we're going to use this fan that's with it to basically slowly, very slowly, blow our way all the way over to the Sky Labyrinth over here. Now, if you have portable rockets of some sort, or portable fans to add to it, I would do that. You might also have to move the fan once in a while in order to position it right. Just keep checking kind of your trajectory towards the labyrinth and whatnot. Now, there is going to come a point where this thing's going to start to give out. It's going to break, so you're going to probably have to glide the rest of the way through, and we're going to land on this little thing right underneath and just ascend up. So very, very easy to do. Not too difficult. Once you get up here, again, there's a shrine. Make sure you activate that shrine in case you fall down, and you can just, you know, fast travel back up, and then activate this, this, I still don't know what these are called. It's just a Zonai activation circular thing. All right, we're going to go through this again. I apologize for repeating myself if you've heard the previous explanations, but in case people are skipping through this video, because I'm going to have chapters for each labyrinth, and, you know, maybe you just want to see one particular labyrinth that you're at right now, I'm going to explain the way this works again. Now, of course, in terms of gameplay, I'm trying to be as uncut as possible because I don't want to confuse you more than anything, but it's a maze. It's very, 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 it's going to be very difficult to get through this thing, so you got to keep that in mind, okay? It's very complex. It's very intricate. Now, I'm going to give you some tips. If you didn't hear my tips earlier, or maybe I'll just reiterate them. The way the map works, if you look at the map at the bottom right corner, or you open it up by pushing the minus button on your controller, you can see that there's a variety of different shades of browns and sort of grays, right? So there's the light brown, which is going to signify basically these walls, right? So anywhere that there's a light brown, it's basically there's going to be a wall there, and you cannot pass it anyway. You can't go above it or under it or through it or anything like that. Those are going to be the light brown. This is going to be the first area. Also worth noting real quick, make sure you track the side quest, which I didn't start doing until like halfway through. Track the side quest so you know where all the 4 activation points are in this Sky Labyrinth. Okay, let me proceed again, just to reiterate. If you see the dark brown or the kind of like grayish brown spots on the map, those are spots where you can go over or under. Those are typically spots that are either going to be a solid piece of land, right like where we just landed here, like a solid piece of wall that you can land on that's lower, or a grate. Okay, so there's grates like right below me, for example. If there's a grate or one of those lands, one of those pieces of well, it's not land, but, you know, a chunk of lower wall that you can land on. Those are going to be useful because you have a limited amount of stamina. You're going to have to land on those once in a while, and then you just basically jump off, you pull your paraglider out, and it should gust you back up when you just kind of jump off it. If you ever find yourself a little bit too low, just let yourself fall a little bit, pull your glider out, and it should just boost you back up, and you should be good to go. Okay, so that's that. Now, again, if you look at the map, then you should be easily able to navigate through this because you're going to understand, okay, you know, what all the different shades of brown signify on the map. Now, sometimes there's going to be grates that are like walls, like the one right there in front of me that I just turned away from. Those ones you can actually kind of drop under or sometimes over, depending on the wall. So do keep that in mind. Now, at this point, I did get a little bit lost. I was trying to look at my map, trying to figure out my surroundings. Again, I'm trying to leave this uncut because it's very difficult. Like I said, in the second labyrinth, is very difficult because on one hand, if I show you guys all this gameplay, then you're seeing also the parts where I get lost. On the other hand, if I cut the gameplay, then you're like, okay, where did he go? Where did he go from here, right? It could just be like really jarring. And I'm just kind of going based off of what, you know, I would find, personally speaking, to be either helpful or non-helpful. I know this makes it a little bit weird and confusing. These are very hard to navigate. So I figured, you know what? I'd rather just leave my uncut gameplay. I'd rather have more than less, and maybe that helps people out, than to cut a bunch of it and try to like make sense of all of that, and then you're so lost and so confused more than anything. Maybe you don't need my help. Maybe all you need is the tips that I gave you and you can navigate this maze yourself. Then great, skip ahead in the video. But if you do need help, this is for the people that need help to see what is going on in the gameplay. Now, in these portions, when you have to jump on these stairs, if you're having or having a hard time rather jumping at them directly, jump on an angle like you see me doing. If you jump on an angle, usually your foot can catch the top and you can hop back over. And we can proceed and continue with all of these points. Now, I don't think there's much more I can offer you as of this point via commentary. I gave you my tips. Again, just look at the map. Anything that's kind of more like a grayish brown, you can fly over. Those are solid pieces of ground that you can land on. Or sorry, No, those are the grates, I think, possibly. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. One of them is the grayish brown. One of them is the dark brown. Both of those things you can typically land on. One of them is a grate, and one of them is just solid wall. Yeah, the grayish brown ones are the solid wall, and the dark brown are the grates. Again, both are going to be able to, you're going to land on to increase your stamina, regain your stamina, if you will. And again, pass over, because sometimes if you're just looking at the map and you see those things, you might think, oh, I can't pass there. There's a wall. But if you understand the color code, I guess, for lack of a better word, then you understand where you can go, where you can't go a little bit better. Like I said, the very light brown is all area you cannot fly over. So just keep that in mind. Okay. At this point, I'll meet you back in just a little bit once we activate the last couple portals, or not portals, whatever they're called, activation points. Again, highly recommend tracking this in your tracking the side quest in your pause menu, because it'll make it a whole lot easier, which I only did halfway through. All right, enjoy the rest of this. Hopefully this helps you out, and I'll see you in just a second when we're ready to continue. All right, so again, once you activate the final one, you're going to be able to just glide all the way up. You're going to have a much stronger of a gust of wind that will allow you to get to the top up here. We're going to make our way to the middle. We're going to go ahead and activate this ring as per usual. There's going to be a bunch of dialogue. You can read it. I mean, you have no choice to read it. You can't skip through it. And then we're going to dive off it. As with the other labyrinths, we're just going to be diving all the way down into the labyrinth in the depths. Again, this is going to activating all these, kind of Sony devices, or not devices, but Sony points is going to unlock the grate. So typically right there where we just went through, there'd be like a grate blocking the way, but now it's open. So we can go all the way to the bottom into the labyrinth of the depths, where we're going to find another boss fight. Now, I will warn you here that what I did is I pulled out additional help, if you will, that's kind of a little bit spoilery from the temples. So if you want to skip ahead, you can just go watch the previous two labyrinths boss fights. It's the same thing. I'll leave a timestamp where to skip ahead right now if you want to avoid spoilers, just because I will have some things from the temples that are helping me out. If you don't care about that, then go ahead and continue watching this. I will also quickly show you what it looks like to die, and then you can skip ahead after this. Once you see the game over screen, then you can skip over to the next part, where I'll leave a timestamp on the screen right now. But if you're still with me, then let's go ahead and jump into the fight. Again, it's the same fight as the previous 2 Labyrinths, so it's not really, you know, that much different or whatnot. It's the same. I think it's still a Flux 3. They're all Flux 3s, technically. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead. We're going to fight it. Spoiler stuff is just what you can see on screen. I'm not going to explain it beyond that in case you're still confused, and, you know, I'm trying my best to, you know, protect you guys from the spoilers as best I can. But if you're watching this video, you're probably far in the game by now. Maybe not. Maybe you still haven't beat the game. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead, and this part, if he smashes you or steps on you, it's big boo-boo. You're gonna get hurt really, really bad. So we're using Ultra Hand to try to grab that one unique cube. You can also dismantle him piece by piece, but we're trying to get that cube right there. And once we get a hold of it, we're just going to keep pulling and pulling and pulling until it snaps off. We're going to go up to it, and we're going to start doing a crazy amount of damage to it to try and just annihilate this construct. Again, it's a Flux Construct 3. He's going to change his method. So this one, he's going to be turning into a cube, and he's going to slam, and he's going to rotate, and he's going to do all this crazy stuff that he's doing, as you guys can see on screen. And again, we're just trying to, you know, quickly get that one unique... yeah, he got me a little bit there. Or did he get me? No, I don't think he did. No, he did. Sorry, he did. I cut it because I healed real quick, and no point to waste your guys' time. It's already a long video. Anyways, you just want to go get that special cube, and then keep attacking it. And he's going to do one other move if he lasts that long. Again, it depends, you know, how long the fight goes on, you know, what kind of weaponry you have. But he's going to shoot these bricks at you. You just want to avoid them. And what we're gonna want to do is ascend, basically. So we're gonna use ascend to get to the top, and then we're just gonna start smacking that brick, which is just sitting up here on top. Ignore the fact that I'm a noob, and I ended up canceling my ascend instead for some reason. Don't know why I did that. But anyways, go ahead and continue smacking that cube, and once you get low enough, you can just finish him off. And that's it. It's going to burst into some very useful parts, including the spiky round things, cylinder things you see on the floor. You could basically infuse that into one of your weapons, including the Master Sword. So that'll definitely boost it. I think it boosts it by like 50 or something. Anyways, we're going to go up to this circle Zonai device, whatever it is, Zonai thing. We're going to interact with it as per usual. There's going to be this whole dialogue as per usual. We're going to go through it. It's going to show that there's going to be a treasure chest lifting up in the middle. At this point, I am going to zoom in on Link as best as I can because I forgot to disable the things that are on screen. So if you're wondering why we're zoomed in crazy, that's why. I'm doing my best, man. I'm really trying, but I'm trying to show you guys the gameplay too. So anyways, go ahead and open the chest, and you're going to get the Evil Spirit Greaves. And if you've done the previous 2 Labyrinths, then you should have the full entire set, which gives you Disguise and Bone Weapon Proficiency for the whole set bonus. It's going to have a total of a 12 defense, and it's going to give you Stealth Up. It looks pretty crazy. It looks freaky. Let's be real. It looks freaky, but it's a pretty awesome set. So there you guys have it. I hope you found this video useful. It's a very, very long one, but hopefully that helped you to some extent. If it didn't, let me know why you didn't enjoy it or didn't find it useful in the comments. So I can improve the content in the future. And if you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more. It really helps out the channel, and I hope to see you soon in another one. Till then, my friends, game on, and thanks for watching.